Hey, good morning, my gorgeous friends on the internet. In this episode, I want to take a look. I took a look, but I want to show you some of the top tools and software that is very useful for a web developer in 2019. By the way, I did see your suggestions, and part 2 and part 3 of my process of building out my first online course is coming. So the part 2 is going to release on Saturday, and the last part is probably going to be at the end of the month because I'm releasing my course towards the beginning of December. So hey, excited. But if you're impatient, you want courses, I want a lot of courses right now, then fear no more because Skillshare is sponsoring this episode. If you're interested in web development, maybe you want to do some web design. Hey, Ed, how do you edit your videos like this? Well, Skillshare has a bunch of courses on all of these different topics right there and there in one place. So you can check that out. They have DaVinci Resolve for video editing. You can do that, no problem. JavaScript, we got you covered. The nice thing is once you sign up, you have access to all of these courses. So you just sign up once and boom, you have access to everything. It's like magic. What is this? Sorcery. I have a link in the description. If you join up under that link, you're gonna get 2 months for free. So you can even try it out. You can see how it is. What are you losing? You're not losing anything. And the annual subscription is less than $10 a month, so it's not even that expensive. So check it out, click the link in the description, sign up, and join up on Skillshare. Thank you very much. So let's start off this list by looking at some software and tools for development and design. And the first one I'm going to start off, which is going to be a bit obvious, but it's VSCode, which is a text editor, the only text editor that exists. Is it the only one? Yes, it's the only one. What can I say about VS Code? It's just such a wonderful tool to use for developing. It's super clean. The UI looks wonderful. It's very easy to navigate through it. And it's very fast and responsive, which is probably the most important part. And there's a large extension of extensions. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Does it? Now, personally, I don't use as many as I used before because I'm quite happy with most of the features that VS Code already has. So there's a big one that people usually use, which is Emmet, but Emmet is already built into VS Code. The few ones that I really like, which I think are kind of necessary, are Live Server, which enables you to hot reload. So when you're working on your HTML or CSS, when you click Control Save, it's automatically going to refresh the page for you, and you're going to see the updates live. Now, a bunch of people also ask me what kind of team I'm using, so let me answer it once and for all. I'm using Material Team Pelonite. Pelonite? I think it's Pelonite. Yeah, it's Pelonite. So Material Team Pelonite, and the icons are also Material Team. So don't ever ask me this question again. I think that everybody in the comments is still gonna be like, Ed, what team are you using? And also Prettier is very good if you want to format your code very nicely. You can customize it the way you want, and once you save, it just formats it automatically for you, and it recognizes multiple languages and everything. So these are probably the most important ones. Then there are a bunch of secondary ones, like specific, so maybe I have one for Python, so it recognizes Python and it formats Python code. Then maybe for frameworks like React and Vue, so it recognizes the Vue template. Just kind of super specific things. I don't really want to include all of these because if you're learning something like Vue, you're probably gonna see that extension used all over the place. But those are the ones that I think are very necessary. And also maybe one, which is called Auto Rename Tag. It's very cool. If you have a H3 tag and you want to change it to a P tag, boom, it does it automatically for you. It closes the last tag. You don't need to go over there with your mouse, or maybe you know some quick trick with your keyboard, the shortcut. No need for that anymore. When it comes to the browser, I use Chrome, but recently I kind of started moving over to Firefox just because I like their CSS grid I cannot say that word. Visualization tool. Yeah, so you can see the grid and everything. It's very nice. You should check it out. But when it comes to extensions, I don't really have that many. I find myself happy with just a color picker. So whatever page I'm on, boom, boom, I lick it, I flick it, and I have the color ready to go in my CSS. I just have a JSON viewer as well. So if I'm viewing a REST API, hey, it formats it nicely for me. We cannot forget about AdBlock, the king, best extension out there. And also just very specific things to maybe frameworks. I have like Vue DevTools, React DevTools, but nobody cares about these. So when it comes to photos and pictures, that's the same thing. I use Affinity Photo, which allows me to composite my images, edit my images, add some brightness, some contrast, cut them out, change the color, do whatever I want. A lot of other people use Photoshop, so you can use that as well if that's what you want. If you want something for free, you can use GIMP. I think that's probably the best open source one that there is. I also have a comparison coming up with all of these photo things, and I put them to the test. All of them, GIMP, Photopea, everything. Affinity Photo, Photoshop, everything. They're fighting. You're gonna see who's the winner. Okay. What was I talking about? Now, if you're wondering where I get my images from, I either shoot them myself or I take them off Pexels, which is a super awesome. It's my favorite one to get pictures from. They're very high quality.
Hello guys, it's Jovan, and you know what time it is? Disco time!
Taken by a bunch of very talented people. And the awesome feature about Pexel is that you can also choose a size to download it. You can get it at max size, full resolution, the best of the best. You can count the pixels. You cannot count the pixels actually because it's too large, but you can go smaller if you want. So Pexels is number one for me. You also have a few different ones, but this is probably the only one I would recommend, and Unsplash if you want like very high quality picture. Oh, and also a quick shout out to Placeholder. If you don't want to search for all the images and you just kind of want to see how your layout looks, you can just drop in a placeholder image by visiting placeholder.com. Okay, so you made your website, you dropped all your images in, and now it loads super slow. What did you do? Why is it loading so slow? Tell me. You didn't optimize your images, did you? You have a dog picture there, it's 20 megabytes, 20 megabytes of hair and poop. And it pooped on the ground, it's like 5 megabytes of poop. So, for that, I'm gonna recommend one website. I think it's good enough, either if you want to drop in JPEGs or PNGs or whatever you want. TinyPNG is a super awesome tool. It's the only tool that I use for optimizing my images. You can drastically drop the size of your files, and sometimes it's so amazing. You drop in a 2 megabyte PNG and the output is like 100 or 200 kilobytes, and the quality is, you cannot even notice it. It's almost identical to the 2 megabyte one. I don't know what they do over there at TinyPNG, but thank you. So TinyPNG is very awesome. I give you 2 claps. That was 3. Let's move on. For designing my websites, I use Figma. It's super fast, it's super simple. Recently, they also added some prototyping so you can do some animations. And here's actually a very cool trick that you can do. You can drop in any image that you want, resize it, and you can just export it out like that. So you can have like a super fixed size of how it's going to look on your monitor. So if you're working on a 1080p monitor, maybe you can do a 1080p frame. You can drop in an image, resize it in Figma so you like it the way it looks, and then you can export it from there, and boom, it's going to look exactly like that in your HTML. When it comes to colors, I usually don't use any tools anymore. I kind of do my own color palette. But if you want to use a website, there's UI gradients, which is pretty okay, and also colors with like 10 O's or something. That's gonna generate you a few colors and you can pick out of them. It's pretty cool, you should check it out. If I ever want to work with video on the browser, I use DaVinci Resolve to export my videos and compress them the way I want. You probably saw it with my AirPod Pro tutorial animation thingy-jingy with the video. Actually, Apple used images to sequence together when you scroll, and it loaded so heavily, and it was like 60 megabytes. Mine was 2 megabytes at 1 Apple 0. When it comes to icons, I use Font Awesome, but actually they started putting a lot of icons behind a paywall, so I actually kind of switched over to Icon Monster. I feel like I found pretty much everything I needed there with a nice range of variety. When it comes to either getting some illustrations, I either build them myself with Affinity Designer, but if I really want some simple ones, OnDraw is very awesome. I used to use them in my thumbnails. They give you a bunch of awesome free illustrations. You can use them anywhere you want. And the cool thing is that you can also customize the images with the colors. So you can pick out any color that you want so it matches the theme of your website. So there we go. That's gonna be my mini list of top software and tools that I use for development and design. Please let me know what you use or the tools that I missed and I should give it a shot. So write it down right now. Let me know. So there we go. That's gonna be it. I cannot wait for Saturday so I can show you more what I did with the course and where we are with the course, and also kind of the struggles I'm going through because it's way more difficult than I expected it to be. I didn't know that building out the course was this hard. Anyway, probably a longer course because it's gonna be quite long and it's gonna cover a quite big range of topics. But I think it's all gonna be worth in the end. I think everybody's gonna be happy with it, and especially you, right? Because I'm trying to help you the most, so I'm trying to make it as perfect as I can.